Does anyone else feel like they're just getting hairier and hairier? I FaceTimed my mate Aidan the other day and he said I'm now more hair than face, and I can't really argue with him. Right, today we are going to talk about stretching, and we're going to talk about the sort of two main types of stretching, and the ones that I tend to advise people on for doing before and after workouts, and making sure that you're doing them at the right time to avoid injury and not to negatively affect your goals. Okay, so the two main types are static stretching and dynamic stretching. We're going to talk about static stretching first. So probably the most common one, the one that most people know about, or even if they don't know about it, they've done it without realising it. Static stretching is where you put the muscle that you want to stretch into a lengthened position, and then you hold it for a period of time to help encourage that lengthening into the muscle. So examples of this would be like the calf stretches that I did on 1 Minute Mondays the other week, and the pec and bicep stretches that I did on 1 Minute Mondays the other week. If you haven't watched those, go to my Instagram or check them on the YouTube channel and just flick through there. They're really useful short stretches that can be done so easily. But these are all sort of static stretching. I have a few rules of thumb with static stretching that I like to sort of keep to based on my understanding and the bit of research that I've done around them. And I always say to people, you want to hold that static stretch for about 30 seconds for most muscle groups. But when it comes to the calf, I tend to go a little bit longer than that because it's a big tense muscle and we want to stretch it out a little bit longer. So I normally say about 60 seconds for that. Now, the reason I say 30 seconds is because most of the research that I've seen around static stretching shows that we need to hold the stretch for 20 seconds to have a benefit of lengthening those muscle fibers. And I don't trust myself, and I think most of us, if we're honest, probably can't count 20 seconds slowly enough. So we'd rush through it. So I normally say to people, count 30, and then you know that you've done 20, and you're in a bit of a safe zone. So it's a nice, easy number to remember. Most people can stick to 30 seconds. So that's the reason I tend to advise people on 30 seconds for static stretching. Now, static stretching is best to be done after you've worked out, not before. The reason for this is, again, research shows that static stretching, while it reduces your risk of injuring that muscle before doing any activity, it also reduces the maximum power output of that muscle. And especially if you're training for strength, you don't want to reduce your muscle power output. I can't remember the exact figure. I think it's something about like 15%, but I could be wrong, so I'm going to research it and stick it up on the screen. So really, we want to use static stretching after we've done our exercise to help lengthen the muscle and make sure it doesn't stay in a contractive state from exercise. But we don't really want to use it before because it can reduce power output, and that's probably going to hinder our training or our progression and anything we're likely to do. It's fine to do on your rest days. It's not going to have any negative effect on your rest days. So yeah, I tend to advise people to do it on their rest days, and you can combine it with a bit of foam rolling, and that's great. But I would really avoid doing it before your activities, your exercise, your workouts, and use it as like a post-workout means for like releasing muscle tension. Dynamic stretching, which is the other side of the thing, is stretching with movement. So you're never holding the muscle in the position. You're taking the muscle through the range of movement right to the end range and then bringing it back again. Examples of this are things like leg swings, thoracic rotations, like walking your hands along the floor. It just sort of gets your body used to doing the movement it's about to do, but in a slightly less impacted fashion, and it just gets you moving a little bit better. This is great before a workout because the research on this side of things shows that it doesn't reduce your maximum power output like static stretching does, but it still helps reduce the risk of injury. And we want to reduce the risk of injury because if you go in sort of been completely sedentary and then go and do a HIIT workout or something really explosive, especially, you are at higher risk of straining or even tearing a muscle, and giving yourself like a tendon injury, which is even worse. So we want to reduce the risk of those things. So that's why dynamic stretching before a workout is so good, but it also doesn't decrease your maximum power output. And allows you to train to your maximum potential, which is normally what our goal is with these sort of things. So yeah, I tend to advise dynamic stretching before activity, static stretching afterwards, and static stretching on your down days is great. People all say to me, should I still do my static stretchings if I've done the dynamic stretching before? I would say yes, it's a good idea, because when you've been doing whatever exercise you've been doing, those muscles are contracting for long periods of time, and they sort of get used to being in that contracted state, and we want to avoid that becoming a lasting sort of position for them. We don't want that to be the norm, because that's when people get chronically shortened muscles and chronically shortened tendons, and we want to avoid that. So if we can stretch it out afterwards as well, it's really, really beneficial. So sort of bookend your workouts with dynamic stretches before and static stretching afterwards. And that really is all I'm going to talk about on this today. I just want to keep it that sort of simple and straightforward. Nice bit of information for you guys to take home with you. It should hopefully help you with all the home workouts and running that everyone's doing at the moment. Please let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to go into a bit more detail, or anything that you think I've missed, and I'll gladly sort of try and do another video on it. But hopefully you've liked this video, you've enjoyed the content. So if you have, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.